So it's day two of the 2024 Olympic Games that got started on Saturday after we saw the opening ceremony on Friday night. Team USA, they captured their first medal on day two, and there were some impressive performances also on that day. So it's time to talk about the Summer Games. We're going to do with a man I know who's over in Paris right now. He's a good play-by-play voice. His name is Greg Mescall, and he joins me here. Greg, what's going on? How's Paris?
Good man, Dex. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you. Greg, I got to ask you this. We got to start with the opening ceremonies because that went down on Friday, and I've heard some mixed reactions about the spectacle along the Seine River. Did you take in the opening ceremony, and what did you think of the display?
I've been fortunate to go to a few Olympics, and typically I do try to go to the opening ceremony. With the weather last night, and it was going to end up being a lot of time in the rain. Opted just to watch the feed of the ceremony, which for anyone that watched it on TV, I think agreed it was just a visually beautiful display. An opening ceremony tends to run long, so if you're new to those, it could feel like maybe it dragged on for a little while, but it was this great, I think, display of art and obviously the city and a lot of just French culture, and they obviously put their stamp on it. And so to have that, Lady Gaga, Celine Dion making her return, I think all these things made for a pretty impressive show. The athletes that were out there, props to all the athletes that rode down the Seine, and they were drenched at times. They had the ponchos out, so it was a long night for them. But it's such a once in a lifetime experience. That's why you saw everyone from LeBron James on down to an athlete you may never have heard of before. So excited to take part in it because it is such a unique experience. And so while there might have been some people that were down on it, I think by and large, at least the vibe we get here is that despite the weather, everyone seemed to enjoy it.
I have to say, I would have wanted to be out there and seen it, Greg, but I think I would have made the same choice that you did, which is to stay dry and watch this on the feed because I don't need to get soaked out in the rain. As somebody who was a former weather reporter, yeah, I know what it's like covering some events in the rain, and not fun
Well,
fun at
typically,
all.
the opening ceremony usually is in a stadium of sorts,
Right.
and so you can kind of go and you're in your seat, even if it's open air, you're kind of in your seat and you know exactly what's going to happen. So, to your point, maybe one knock from like a spectator standpoint is that it was more like being on a parade route, right? Things were
Hmm.
going to kind of pass you by. You weren't seeing the full show all in one place, and then obviously the final lighting of the torch was in a bit more of a secluded area, but it was something different. These are a chance to try something new and exciting, and so it was a fun interpretation of the way that the organizers put it on.
Yeah, it's something different. Like you said, usually these ceremonies take place inside of a stadium or an arena, so something different for these opening ceremonies. All right, we move on from the opening ceremonies. We're going to talk about the good on Saturday, and there was some good because Team USA won its first 2024 Olympic medals on Saturday. It came in the sport of diving. The first one did. Sarah Bacon, Cassidy Cook, they claimed second place in the women's synchronized 3-meter springboard event. Now, it had been quite some time since the U.S. medaled in this event. So what did you make of the performance by Cook and Bacon here on Saturday?
We took the words right out of my mouth. It was only fitting that it was a little bit past breakfast time here in Paris when Cook and Bacon took the first medal, and that's the one that U.S. fans are always interested in, right? Who will be the first to win that first medal in Olympic Games? And so you get that honor going to USA Diving. That's a huge moment for them. And then diving, often a sport that is so dominated by China, and so for the United States to be able to come out early on day one and get a medal, that I think just gives the entire program such confidence, such excitement going into the rest of the events. And what an exciting moment for these two women to be able to come away with a silver. It's just the result, as any Olympian who's been fortunate enough to win a medal, it's the result of not just a couple of weeks or months of training, but years of dedication to this sport. And so awesome to see them deliver one of their best performances when their best was needed.
Yeah, and as you said, a really good start for the Team USA diving squad to get off to a good start, getting the first medal for the country here. I'm going to move over to basketball because we talked about the good, but there's some concern. I won't say bad, but concern for USA men's basketball. They opened up group play against three-time NBA MVP Nikola Jokic and Serbia. Now, the concern isn't just that they're facing Jokic, who's an amazing player, but that some American players are sick ahead of the national team's opener. What are you hearing about the health of Team USA right now?
Well, it's interesting, Dex, and doing the play-by-play, right? You never want to get into playing doctor or guessing as to who might or might not be available, ailments and those sorts of things. Just reading some of the same reports that I'm sure you've been seeing as well. KD was one that they've been waiting for to return. It sounded like he was trending in a positive direction, and then TBD on the rest, but given the structure of the Olympics, you can be sure if these guys can in any way go, they will. I had a chance to attend the USA Basketball press conference where we heard from Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, and obviously KD, Olympic veteran, Steph Curry making his Olympic debut this time around. But one of the things they talked to the reporters about was the nature of the Olympics and how there's no days off. Not that there's days off in the NBA season either, but in the sense that you can't afford even a 2 game skid, right? It is a brief schedule. It's as Steph Curry said, similar to the March Madness format. You've got to be at your best every single day, and so you can almost certainly guarantee that if those that are out can go in any way, they definitely will. And then to your point on who they're facing, and interesting stats been going around the last couple of weeks, right? What the original Dream Team faced in the way of NBA players, it was less than 10, and now what this USA basketball team will face in the way of NBA players, and it's I think well over 60. And so you see the depth around the world as well. That's adding to the excitement, I think, of every single match, where it's not like the schedules of old where people feel like it's not going to be competitive. I think everyone's thinking just about every game here is going to be a battle.
Yeah, it's not 1992 anymore. This isn't the Dream
Exactly.
Team demolishing Angola. That's not happening
Yes.
anymore. And in terms of the team USA, KD, as you said, trending in the right direction. Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, they've been battling illness the last couple of days, and we'll see if they are good to go for Team USA's opening match against Serbia. Now, Greg, here's a sport that you know very well. That is water polo. And the U.S. women's team, they had a strong performance on Saturday. They are going for a record fourth straight gold. What did you like about their 15-6 win over Greece? And is there a threat to the Team USA women in this water polo competition at all?
Well, first, I don't think you could ask for a better start for any team than what the water polo squad did in their opener against Greece. A score like that at the Olympic level is frankly unexpected. You would think the games would be a bit closer, but I think everything just kind of clicked for the USA women. They raced out to a 7-0 start. And at that point, no matter who is on the other side, it's very difficult to dig out of a hole that large in a sport like water polo. So they were able to keep it up. It was exciting to see. There are 7 newcomers on that roster. Olympic rookie Jenna Flynn, 4 goals in that match to lead all scorers. And then to your other question, who's a threat? Well, it was interesting. The first match of the day and the first match in the women's water polo tournament was Hungary against the Netherlands. And those are 2 teams that could give Team USA a challenge. Hungary is the last team to beat Team USA just a couple of weeks ago before they headed out to Paris. And then the Netherlands, similarly built, big physical squad. So those are a couple of teams that could give them troubles. The staff, of course, will tell you that anyone on any given day, very much coach speak, of course, right, but would tell you that anyone can be a challenge to them. But those are a couple that you have to keep an eye on. And then their next opponent, Spain, is a team that they've often played in some of the biggest matches. So those are some teams to know as the competition moves forward.
All right, there you go. Hungary, Netherlands, and the Spanish team. Keep your eye on them as competition for Team USA. But as you said, Team USA, they are not sleeping on anybody as they move forward. Now, Katie Ledecky, when we talk to swimming, she got her first medal of these games, but it was not a gold. She was unable to reclaim the gold medal in the women's 400-meter freestyle. She did win a bronze. That's her 11th overall Olympic medal. Ledecky, she needs 3 more gold medals to have the most medals by any woman, in Olympic history. Do you think she accomplishes that feat during these games?
I mean, how on earth do you bet against someone like Katie Ledecky? She's an athlete, and I've been thinking about this more. And, I don't know, Dex, maybe we're getting older, right? But you think about some of the greats in sport, swimming, basketball, soccer, whatever it might be. Hope everyone that is watching the Olympics just kind of takes a moment to let it wash over them that they're watching one of the best to ever do it. So if you haven't gotten a chance to watch Katie Ledecky compete, please do that, because it really is something phenomenal to see. She has quite a few more events on her calendar coming up. obviously, the longer the events go, the better she can sometimes perform. She's been so dominant across many events, but in those really long distance events, I've watched her compete at quite a few Olympics and World Championships. She leaves people out of the screen. So you're watching her race. It looks like she's practicing on her own. That's how far ahead of the rest of the field she is when she's winning these golds and setting all sorts of records. So long answer to a short question, but yeah, I definitely think it could happen here in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely can. Like you said, when I watch her and I see how dominant she is, Greg, where there's nobody else in the screen, you really can think that she's swimming by herself and practicing, except she's not, which makes me think about how the other swimmers must feel when they're that far
Well,
behind her.
it's that it's got to be tough. Just going up against someone who's so dominant. But you mentioned the screen. One of the fun things to watch is when they have those two lines chasing, kind of like the
Yeah.
world record, or Olympic record, or her personal best and the Olympic record. And as she kind of tries to move past those, it's sometimes the only thing left to wonder about because the gold medal's already been secured.
Yep, it's Katie Ledecky against history. And that's what it is there. We'll see. That is my guy, Greg Mescall, one of the great play-by-play voices, sports broadcasters out there. Check out his work. He is out in Paris throughout these Olympic Games. We'll be talking to him throughout the duration of the Summer Olympics. Greg, we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy Paris. I know you're very busy, but we will talk again soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Thanks again.